Rizula, Chris Chan used to follow me on Twitter. I've always wanted to tell this story. I drew a picture of Sonichu doing an epic Sonic Heroes pose. And Chris Chan followed me like a month later. And I remember, because what happened is I was sort of looking at my phone in the morning. I said to Emily, is this the actual Chris Chan? And I didn't follow him at the time because I was like, I don't want to deal with that shit. And Emily looked on the phone and was like, yeah, that's the real Chris Chan following you there. I was like, oh my fucking god. So for like a solid 2 years, Chris Chan followed me on Twitter. But then after the barbening, I didn't quite feel comfortable having him about anymore, so I blocked him.
I told him to take a screenshot of the notification and we would actually frame it.
So many people told me that. 3 different people told me that.
You framed that shit on a goddamn wall. Why wouldn't you? Make a little shrine.
A little shrine to Chris Chan.
Put some questionable liquids on there to dry.
Here's my shrine to the motherfucker.
Chris Chan, a true motherfucker.
He's an OG.
Also, they were all saying what the fuck to Chris Chan following you on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, that was a thing. That was so totally a thing. I remember being like so blown away at the time.
I remember your reaction was like, really?
Yeah, I was
really?
Really?
Why?
I was offended. I was like, I'm not having this weirdo follow me.
Didn't fucking retweet you out though, did he?
No, he only liked that one tweet I did. They never acknowledged me again, but I was on the following list for a good long period of time. Which is funny, because previously I'd also taken the piss out of them beneath their tweets. So apparently they couldn't remember that I'd made fun of them once upon a time, but they were able to follow me and previously ignore me. I'm just happy I don't have to deal with them anymore, is all I'm saying.
Gamira says, I found you because of your Sonichu animations.
Oh boy, I love that one. Fun fact, you see the Chris Chan one where he walks towards the camera? That was a very, very stressful video to make because we found out he'd just been released from prison and we found the AI of Sweet Home Alabama and we were like, I was like, go on, Emily, I must finish this video. If not, I will miss this opportunity. And I'm glad I did because that video consistently brings in 600 views every 2 days. All these months later, still somehow, and it's
I'm
weird.
glad you listened to me and just flipped him as well. Because, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I would never got that if I didn't.
Leroy was like, he had drawn 3 frames and was like, okay, now to draw 3 more. And I was like, no, fucking flip them. Get this over with.
Yeah, no, I'm glad.
I remember how stressful that day was.
That was a fucking awful day.
Gamira says, Chris Chan, I can't engage deeply with that subject. I prefer the surface funny stuff, not focusing on the sad reality of the individual's life.
Yeah, I could sort of see that. It's one of those topics where you need to be able to sort of take yourself out of it a lot. But I find it's quite easy to dislike Chris Chan just because they're I think they're very hateable personally.
A motherfucker.
Yeah, before that, because fun fact, I've been following Chris Chan since 2011. Apparently I'm one of the rare people that's been following him for a long ass time. Emily, you probably remember me talking about him when we were kids, to be honest.
Oh, I do, because I remember I followed Chris Chan on Facebook and I got called a normie for it, and it's like, I just want to keep up with the,
I just want to know
what happens.
The funny fat man. But yeah, no, because I remember I was a little kid, I had a little, shitty tablet I used to use, it was a bootleg. And what happened was, I used to watch lots of videos of people ranting about Sonic recolors, because I thought that was the deepest topic in the world. If you guys ever watched that Izzy's video about Mary Sue's, I was involved in a lot of that culture back in the day, being like, oh, Mary Sue's, my OCs are well cool and not Mary Sue, I swears. And that's how I found Chris Chan, because I found some guy. Yeah, it's funny, because I found out he was ranting about the Sonic recolors, but he seemed to be under the impression that Sonichu had an actual fan base and wasn't just like everyone taking the mick out of Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, he was like, why is there actually a fan base for this? Spoiler alert, buddy, there's not.
Smolta said, Chris Chan is a lot like Amy, but without the autism.
Without?
And Amy said, so basically I am Chris Chan because I am autistic.
Essentially.
Gamira says, I don't know when I became aware of Chris Chan. I saw Sonichu stuff around, but I didn't hear the whole story until about 2016. Yeah,
he kind of blew up 2014, 2016. Because that's when you got people like Gibby or Dylan Thomas making their videos on him. That sort of more normalized it, and all the Gino Samuel stuff. Because I think without a lot of that, you've got to sort of just stitch it together through other videos. But a lot of the videos I used to watch when I was a kid, they're not really up anymore. I used to watch this guy called D-Stex, and his series was quite comprehensive. How he'd go over the Sonichu comics and what each part of the lore meant. But what happened is he eventually just sort of had like troll's remorse from making videos about Chris. because he wanted to join a lot of he wanted to join BreadTube basically, and thought, oh, if I make fun of Christian, they're not gonna let me into BreadTube. So he privated the video. It's still, you can still see it on his channel. It's still unlisted, and I watch it every now and then. But because he's gone, it was a lot harder to get into the lore until Gino Samuel came about.
Amy said, all I know is Julie deserved better.
Julie did not deserve better. You seen, Amy, that comment you put on the Christian Live in Prison video has like 400 likes. It's like the first one on the list of comments. I always see it gets a lot of attention.
Gamir said, I tried reading Sonichu comics and it's incomprehensible.
Yeah, it really is, because unless you want to, like, unless you really know the Chris lore, it's really confusing. Because the way I experienced it is, I watched a guy read the comics when I was, like, 14, 15. And what he did is, he had no idea about any of the Chris lore. So I had the experience where I was watching Chris Chan Sonichu stuff, and, like, I saw all the stuff that was like, oh, like, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm just looking at the absurdity of this nonsense. And then later on, I found someone who was a little more in the knowledge. And then I found someone who was, like, hyper-obsessed, knew all the lore. And they point out all the little, like, this was what this means. But, like, if you don't know a lot of the lore, you are very confused with Christian stuff. Because a lot of it is completely incomprehensible. Because what he likes to do is he'll, like, just say something and expect you to understand the full context of it. Even if it's something private that at the time wasn't public. Like, there's one issue where he's just... Two of the characters are just his IRL friends. Well, not IRL friends. One of his IRL friends that he spoke to, like, once. And then her current boyfriend, who he was jealous of. And he tried to act like they were romantic rivals. Even though the girl had no interest in him. Or the guy even knew he existed. It was really weird.